This is Design Happy, the podcast where we talk about the human side of home design, remodeling, and new construction. I'm TJ.
And I'm Katie. You're already singing. And as we launch this new podcast, it seems like a good idea to start where we want homeowners considering a project to start with why. Where does that take you, TJ? How are you feeling about this episode today?
I feel great. It takes me, I, I'll give somebody $100 if they can guess what I'm going to say next. Because for those listening, Katie's raising her hand.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
So, so we talk about this as talking about why before what. And when I wrote in the podcast software, why before what, the first thing that came into my head was the Macklemore song Thrift Shop. What? We used to sing that all the time at home. It was Emerson, who I talked about in the last episode. It was her favorite song for a while.
Who got annoyed with it first?
I don't know if any of us are annoyed with it. We were all about it. No.
No one went off to a separate room and didn't come out.
Maybe Kat did. I don't know. Emerson and I were all over Thrift Shop.
That's how it goes in our house, where we're like, no, everyone's loving it. And they're like, but where's mom? We haven't seen her in a couple days. That is a trend. That was like a trendy song that I don't think I ever actually tuned into. And I was like, when it's over, I'll listen. And clearly I didn't, because what year? It came out
2012.
2012? Yeah, no.
Well, you were busy that year anyway.
I was busy that year. Had some stuff going on. Had a kid, although I still use that as an excuse. I'm like, I just had a kid. Lay off.
Oh, you mean like right now?
Yeah. Today. I am postpartum. I'm going to need everyone just to give me some grace with that. Okay. What if you went home and did that today? What if you went home with that little snippet? Would they all
the
pick up
song?
on it? Yeah.
I'm going to do it when Emerson gets home from school. She's going to walk in the door and she's going to say, hi. And I'm going to say, what? And she's going to do it.
She won't she won't be disappointed. She won't shame you for being cringy.
No. Now, Macklin, who's 11,
No.
you could think it's cringy. I think it's fun. Macklin will almost certainly roll his eyes at this point. So he's a little too cool.
Yeah.
But I think I will report back at some point in the future.
Oh, yeah. I'd say next episode, but I won't hold myself to remembering. Make a note in the outline. How about that?
Will do.
Cool. So, why seems very important to you? I'm not saying it isn't to all of us, but I'd like to hear a bit about why is so important to you in this work when you're starting with clients.
Why?
Sure. Why?
So when I was early in my career and people would tell me what they wanted to do, that's what everybody says. Everybody says what. And when I say everybody, I mean homeowners. So when I talk to a homeowner, they tell me what the project is that they're planning to do.
Yeah.
And
which I want to make sense to me. Isn't that what you're
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. I didn't realize that was the least important question to answer, though, when I was early in my career. So they would tell me, whatever, I want to put an addition on my house. I want to redo my kitchen. I want to break down that wall and make my primary bathroom bigger. Right? They would tell me what the project was that they had in their head. And I would just say, okay, great, let's do that.
Okay.
And what I realized after too many years was that I should be asking way more questions earlier on to get to whatever the underlying issues are that are causing them to pick up the phone and tell me what they wanted. Because a lot of times what happened is we would go through the design process, and while we're working together, I ask questions, but we ended up in a totally different place than where we started.
Hmm.
And I could have saved all of us a lot of time by asking better questions earlier in the process.
Okay. I want to know what those questions are. I also, what's the difference for like what happens when someone comes in a what? What's the difference? How do you know the difference between a what and a why at this point? Now that you've learned.
So everyone starts with what? So that's not really a
Yeah.
question. I know when we get to why when they start using emotional words.
Oh,
So I feel embarrassed by my kitchen. All my friends have new kitchens and mine is old. Someone's told
okay.
me that before. If someone starts crying, which happens not never, then I really
Right.
know we hit on a real emotional chord there, and that's the real problem that we're solving for.
Yeah.
The new kitchen or the addition or whatever, that's the solution that we get to. But when we really understand the root cause of the issue, there might be a totally different solution that we haven't realized yet.
I really yeah, I appreciate this because in my life as a therapist and in that world and in that work, um my experience is folks showing up to therapy and saying, "This is what I want to do. This is what I want to work on, and here are the outcomes that I want to see." And it really takes us about 3 months to figure out actually what is needed. Um, what sounds different between that and home design? But maybe not. Why feels like a really big, profound question. Is it always in this? Is it all, it sounds like there's this experience where it does get very emotional. Um, does it have to be? Does the why have to be super profound?
No, it doesn't. And I guess it depends on how each individual person defines profound. So I have had
Well,
someone, I have had a client before tell me that their kitchen is embarrassing because all of their friends have new kitchens and theirs is old. So do I personally find that profound? No,
yeah.
but that person was feeling really insecure about their kitchen, and every time they were in it, they felt bad about themselves. So to them, is it profound? Yeah, I think it is. So I don't know. I don't want to judge how, the validity of someone's underlying
No,
emotional.
that's not
No.
what. Oh, well, let me change the outline then. No, that's fair. I'm like, I want that person to like do their kitchen with you, and then I would love someone to come to therapy being like, I feel insecure because all my friends have better kitchens. I really want to dive into that. But that's okay. I see your point. I see that's fair. That feels fair. Do you you keep bringing up this kitchen? Do you have a favorite why that someone has had that you've gotten to with clients?
A specific favorite one?
Yes.
I
And
don't
I
think
want
so.
dates, and I want names, and I
I have a favorite moment in the conversation.
yeah.
I can't think of like one person that or project that jumps to it, but there is something that happens on a personal level regularly, like how I know I got to the right why.
Hmm.
And it's when it's like what someone looks like before they cry. The,
Very, yes. That is like, yeah.
right? It's just like a look you get in your eyes. I'm not even talking about like glassy eyes at this point. It's like right before that. It's like you're like looking off into the distance, like a mat. Like,
Yeah, that's my like learned skill at this point. That is my yes.
so
And
that's
sight lights. Yeah.
my favorite millisecond is when that happens because
Oh.
I'm not trying to make someone cry. Like I don't need like tears to actually come out of their eyes, but
Mm,
I
I mean, that's
know that
what I'm hearing is your favorite point in this process is right before someone cries. Like right before they're brought to their emotional edge. Is that
so,
the
so there's a I'm gonna butcher this, but there's a good Jerry Seinfeld bit that I'm reminded of in this moment where he talks about extra strength Tylenol and he's like figure out the amount that's gonna kill me and then just dial it back
oh,
just a little bit. Right. So I don't necessarily want somebody to cry, but I feel like we need to get to the edge and pushing the envelope and digging deeper about here's an example of a project that we did. So a lot of people tell me they need more space. They're like, "Oh my God, my house is too small. I need more space." Like, okay, why do you need more space? So we go through this conversation, and these people had a great read, and I wrote about it in the book, Designed Happy the book. If people don't know,
if you
but
don't know, and if you're viewing, you can see it right. Look at that.
look at that
Look at
shiny
that
cover.
guy.
Oh, look at that guy on the
Look at that
back.
guy. Look at that guy.
Oh my gosh. So this is a complete aside. I'm going to get back to the story in a second.
Oh, please don't.
So, so I have a friend in the business who didn't realize I wrote a book and I gave him a copy. I don't drink any alcohol anymore. Just, it doesn't make me feel good. I have a lot of food allergies, so I can't drink alcohol anymore. So um, I was drinking when I wrote the book. So the picture on the back is when I was drinking. And then now he sees me. And so I gave him the copy of the book and he knows that I don't drink anymore. And he was like, oh, so this is when you were drinking, right? What are you talking about? This is what I was
I
what
don't
do
know.
I look like in that picture that he was like, oh my God, you must have been drinking when when this picture was taken.
So anyone who's watching can see. Here's the TJ. If you could just put your head up to this, we're doing it before
So
and after.
slightly the same. I don't know which way to turn.
Yeah, right. Right.
Right? It's like, do I look
Drinking.
hungover in that picture? Like, I don't think, like, I don't get
No,
it.
TJ, it's the beer in your hand.
That was the giveaway.
It's the scratch and sniff alcohol, gin and tonic. It's the
Oh my gosh. So anyway,
oh
I took us down a rabbit hole there. So this project, they said we need an addition,
yeah.
and I said okay, and we had a conversation about it, and they didn't actually need an addition. And I tell this to people all the time when we get to this point. So I told them, you don't have a space problem. You have enough space. What you actually have is a space allocation problem.
Yeah.
So they had a bunch of spaces in their room, in their house that they didn't use. And they just didn't realize they didn't use them.
Mm-hmm.
So when we got to the underlying why, which was they needed to have their parents come live with them and feel comfortable in their home. And they thought the way to solve that was to build an addition.
Yeah.
And that was could have been a solution,
Right.
but what we ended up doing was reallocating the space that they had that they didn't use. So in the end, they solved their underlying emotional why. They wanted to be good kids for their parents and be able to support them. And they saved a ton of money because they didn't build space they didn't need.
Mm.
So that's why it's so important to get to that root cause of why they picked the phone up, because once we understand, then that's the problem we're solving for.
Yeah. And that's a just like hot parenting tip here for a moment, like next rabbit hole is that it makes me think of all the times Zoe, my kid, has been like come to me and said like, I need these black pants. And I'm like, or I need to buy these black pants, or I need to buy and I'm like, you have black pants. You have she's like, "No, but I need these black pants." And I'm like, "Okay, why do you need these black pants?" It didn't work as well last time. We ended up just getting the new black pants, but it's like, wha try to explain you tell me why you need because as okay, we're coming through the rabbit hole. Here we go. As parent of a teen, if I go like, "You don't need those pants." Oh, then the need crystallizes, it's like the those pants will become hell or high water, right? Um, but going around, like, getting her to come to it, and that's where it feels like, 1, I don't we're not here to shade any other home architecture, home design firms, but I am curious if do other people do this? Do other designers and architects do this with their clients? Um, and then not a question, but as you're talking, what it helps me think about is like how different it would feel for me if I was um if I was the client and like I need an addition because I need more room. And if the person just came back to me and was like, no, you don't. Like, even,
Nope.
even though you're even though you're saying you might walk in and go, no, you don't. The difference in like bringing someone through the process and letting them come to it also just feels entirely different. So back to maybe the helpful question, are other do other people do this? Do other architects and designers and do this?
I can only tell you what I've seen. So I can't say no because I don't know everybody. In other places I've worked, I have
Yeah.
seen people ask one why. So say like, "Oh, I want an addition." Okay, why do you want an addition? "Oh, I need more space." Okay, right? That's very common.
Hmm.
Some people will say, "Okay, what do you need the new space for?" And then they'll say, "Oh, my parents need to move in and we need extra space." Okay. There are I haven't seen, I can't say that it doesn't exist, but I haven't seen someone really like go keep going until you get to the I want to be a good kid and support my parents and provide a place for them to stay. Cause that answer is when they get that pre-cry look in their eyes. Cause it's super emotional, right? They want to,
Well, and they
give
may
back
not
to,
either. They might be saying it for the first time too.
yeah, maybe, maybe. And the second thing you talked about was like me walking in and say, nope, we're not doing that. I don't ever tell people, let me rephrase. I don't ever tell clients no. I tell people no, mostly my kids. But I never say no to a client because it's not my house.
Yeah.
What I do is ask a lot of questions. So you said, bring them on that journey. So I feel like it's my job to help them get to what their why is and for them to realize what we're actually solving for. And once they realize what we're solving for, then I can jump in and say, hey, would it be okay if I showed you an option where we didn't do an addition? If I can solve for that without it? Everyone says yes. And it could be, it doesn't have to be an addition, it could be anything.
Yeah.
But the once we get to the emotion, then I'm just asking them for permission to show them an option that solves for that.
Yeah.
And everyone's super open to it.
So it really does hmm, it takes what I imagine this process being of a like I come as the client and I bring what I want to you and then you go and start drawing and make that happen. It sort of, I don't know, to me, it opens up what the beginning of this process looks like and the purpose of it, which is to get clear on your why and is why that like 5 whys exercise, um, again, in Designed Happy, the book, uh, is something that like people can be doing and thinking about between the times they're talking with you. Um, Want to try that here? Could we give that could we give that a go?
Yeah, we can give it a go. Can I make a couple disclaimers before we do it? Um,
Depends.
I asked it as a question, and I should have said I'm going to make a couple disclaimers before we do it.
Do it. Do it.
First, I would love to work with everyone that is looking to do a home related project, but that's not practical. So the first part of this is I want people to understand how to help themselves through this process.
Right.
We're in the DC metro area. If you're in, pick a place outside of the DC, Texas, Minnesota,
Um,
California, yeah, wherever,
yeah.
I can't help you. So if you can do the 5 why exercise yourself and get to that emotional core of what you're feeling, then you could go to your design professional and say, this is what I'm solving for. Help me find the solution, instead of bringing a solution to the design professional. So first, that's the goal of this. Second is I didn't invent 5 whys. I heard about it from Toyota, the car maker.
I've heard of them. Yeah.
Yeah. I apply it to what we do here, so I'm not trying to take credit for it. I didn't invent it. And the third part of it is Toyota says 5 whys. You could get to the root cause before 5. It doesn't have to be 5. So if you're at 4 and you're feeling and you're doing it on your own and you're like, oh, I'm not pre-crying yet, then you should go one level deeper and see if you
Oh,
can get to 5.
maybe 8 even.
It could
Yeah.
be.
Keep
It could
going. Yeah. That's a really good, yeah. 5 whys is great for branding and packaging, but like, and that's why. Thanks for being open to doing this, because I think seeing it in real time makes it a little bit more like apply to life and what it actually looks like. Can I add a I'm going to add a disclaimer too. It- Once you, this is one of those like once you see it, you can't unsee it. Um, and since reading about it and using it in our work more. Now it's like I 5 whys everything, um, in places that are like really, really helpful just generally, and in places where it's like just pick a coffee, just pick a coffee, just pick one. Like, we can't be here for so long. Okay, so how do we start this?
Well,
I share.
normally, yeah. So you would tell me, you're the homeowner, I'm the me, and you would say, hey, I want to do this project.
Okay, so I'm gonna, and tell me if I have to edit this. I'm gonna say well, I'll just use what you've been using. I want an addition on my home.
Okay, that's great. Why do you want an addition? That's number one.
Why do I want an addition? I want an addition because, especially after the pandemic years and when it gets colder and I'm not able to go outside as much and my kid doesn't want to go outside as much, um, I would like to have a space that puts us outside while keeping us inside.
Okay, now for the people listening, Katie is a professional at distilling emotions and talking about this stuff. So what Katie just said, I never hear.
Oh,
So
oh, I
so
want
I
it to
just
look pretty.
when people say I want an addition, I say why. Normally they're like, idiot, I want more space.
I also
Um,
love acting, so let me channel someone else.
so that's fine. I just want people to understand, like, what you just said is probably a layer or two deeper than is typical.
Can I please try again? I've got it. I've got it.
Okay, rewind the tape.
Yeah. Okay. Because I want a bigger house.
A plus. Okay.
Because that is matter. I don't know where we're taking this podcast, because
Oh my gosh.
I want a bigger house.
That's great. A lot of people I talk to want a bigger house. Why is that important to you? That's the second why.
Ooh, I first, I'm a fancy lady. I'm a fancy lady. I like fancy things, and I also um want want the three of us plus animal to we just need more room.
That's great. I know you to be a very fancy lady, so that's on brand.
I mean, do you see my side note? Do I look like I could be in Nirvana? Do I
Oh my gosh.
look like Okay, back to the task. I'm a fancy lady. Because I want a bigger house, because I want us all to have a little bit more space.
Sure. I get that. A lot of people feel that way. Why is it important for you, for the three of you, to have more space?
Because we were stuck in here for like 3 years during the pandemic. And I think it changed us. I think it changed things. This is really, I want to be genuine here and say this for me would probably be the emotion point. Um, and as we're talking it out here, is the thing I was joking about it before, but like, no, it felt real tight in here. And I, what that genuinely brings me to is like, I am, you know, the best member of my family that I can possibly be after just having a kid 13 years ago, that when I can have space, when I can have a space to go to that is quiet and where I can be on my own, even if it's just for 5 minutes.
So what I'm hearing you say, Katie, is that we can help you be the best wife and mother that you can be if we could find you a place in your home that's yours, where you can go and recharge a little bit and then be present for everyone the way you want to be present for them.
Yes. I think like friend and human and therapist and director of happiness as well. Yes. All of those. I will just be better. I will just be better if you could please give me this addition. Whoa. Okay.
So,
Is there
so
another
that's
hear that?
there doesn't have to be. I stopped counting, but sometimes we get to it at 4. Like we
Yeah.
said before, sometimes we get to it at 6. So a couple of things. You started out by saying you wanted an addition,
Hmm.
right? And what we got to was you need a place to recharge, to be the best version of yourself. Now, the addition might be the solution to that problem, but we don't know if it is for sure or not. And if I came in and I just drew you an addition, I wouldn't really be doing you any kind of great service,
Yeah.
right? Because there's a chance that the addition we design doesn't actually solve that problem because we don't know what we're solving for, right? So if it's one big giant open space, like does that really get you what you
Ooh.
need, or does it not get right? I don't know.
Well, I'm thinking, in some world, and if I just had more space, that meant me as one of the adults here in this house had to take care of, had to clean, yeah, there's a version of this where it's like, oh, that actually would not get me what I want.
Mm, good. I
Yeah.
want to we're getting close to time. I want to give the people at home a tip about doing this on their own before we close.
Hot tip time.
Hot tip. So You don't need anything special to do the 5 why exercise. You could do it with a piece of paper and a pencil. You can do it in the Notes app on your phone. I would suggest you write it down somewhere. Doing it in your
Mhm.
head is not a great way to do it because you're going to overthink it. Don't try to get to the solution in why number two. Just really super high level gut reaction. What is it that you want at your house? What do you want? Write it down. And then the very first why do you want it? Just write out, don't try to get to 5 at 1. Everybody tries to get all the way at the end, right at the beginning. Just give yourself the space and the time to go through the exercise because you might land someplace different than where you think you're going to land. And if you just say, "Oh, I know my emotion right now," maybe you do, but I've talked to enough people to know that everyone's not great at identifying, and I'm sure you can relate to people misidentifying emotions.
Yeah.
Um, so don't try to solve it at why two. Take some time, give yourself a breather. And if you're doing this project with a partner, they might have their own why that's completely different from yours. You might have a combined why together. So it's important to do this process, exercise separately,
Hmm.
and then come together, have a conversation about it, compare notes. You might be surprised by what your partner gets to. And we often say that a remodel for a partner is actually two remodels. So getting two separate whys gets us way, way ahead of solving for that when we really know what both parties are coming into it with. So give yourself the emotional and the timing space to go through 5 separate whys and don't solve it too soon.
Mm. And when it comes to whoever else is a collaborator in that, sounds like a great date night conversation. Put your 5 whys together. And if you are clear on your why, if you're ready to go, reach out to us at Designed Happy. If you're clear on your why, but maybe you don't know where to go from there, reach out. TJ loves having these conversations, like a lot. Um, all right. So next time, today we like got clear on the why. Next time we're going to be talking about another way to do some discernment and decision making. So we hope you'll stay tuned.
We will see you then.
See you then. Bye.